Aye.
Vice Chair for the successor agency is Councilmember.
Okay, I will call to order the June 17th meeting of the successor agency. May I have a roll call?
Board members Friedman,
Here.
Najarian,
Here.
Weaver,
Here.
Mayor Sinanian, Vice Chair Quintero.
Here. May we have your report?
The agenda for the June 17, 2014 special public meeting of the successor agency was posted on Thursday, June 12, 2014 on the bulletin board outside City Hall. The item before you today is Director of Economic Development regarding Alex Theater 2013-14 second and third quarter reports from the Glendale Arts and award of bid for the exterior painting project in connection with specification number 3528. 1A is a motion to note and file the second and third quarter reports. B is a motion awarding a construction contract to Campaigning Inc. in the amount of $38,400, authorizing contingency of $7,680 and rejecting all other bids.
Mr. Ochoa.
Yes, sir. Last month, you had approved the specs for the painting project. We've since gone out to bid. The low bid came in with quite a bit of competition, but by far a very good price from CAM Painting, $38,400. We would hope to get your approval for the painting project. If you have questions specifically about that part of the project, Project Manager Hago Kasabian is here, as well as the administrative officer who pushes all the paper back and forth and makes sure this stays on time, Cassandra Pruitt. Similarly, we have at this point the second and third quarter reports from Glendale Arts that operates the theater, and Ms. Glickman, the executive officer, or CEO of Glendale Arts, is here if you have any questions for either of them.
Questions?
I have some
Mr.
questions. The money for this is coming from a ROPS,
Yes,
a
sir.
recognized
Obligation.
And that, are they taking new ROPS, or this is the end of the ROPS money?
No, we will continue. I think we have to file again in October, upcoming. So this was part of the ROPS that had been approved previously. We were under budget thanks to the good work of the folks that we have, and we had identified for successor agency a variety of projects that we would undertake if we had such savings.
Okay. So I guess my question is, at some time this ROPS money is going to be cut off or finished, completed.
Effectively.
And who is going to pay for Alex maintenance issues after that point? So that's
Ideal. That's a great question. We've talked a little bit about that in the past. We are getting to a point where our agreement with Glendale Arts, we're hoping to consummate it in a manner in which they would take over entirely and actually purchase from the city the Alex Theater. I think to the extent that uncertainty that was the pall that was cast over the fate of the Alex vis-a-vis the dissolution has put them a little behind the eight ball when it comes to their capital fundraising. But to the extent that they continue to manage that venue for us and ultimately would take it off of our hands in toto, I mean, they would be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep as a capital ongoing venture. That's still, until council directs otherwise, that's still the direction we're heading. I think it's maybe been pushed back a little bit based on our collective ability to make that handoff, but that still is where we're hopefully taking it.
so not to get too far on a tangent, but as it relates to ROPS and the maintenance issues, I mean, the sale would have to be an arm's length transaction, would it not? I mean, we couldn't say, give a sweetheart deal to the Glendale Arts.
We can direct the sale, but we would have and have had it, I believe. I don't think the appraisal's been finalized yet, but we have done the initial work on the appraisal. And I think we would ideally direct it under the state law to Glendale Arts, provided that they have the capacity and the structure to take that on.
I mean, it might not be worth much anyway, in light of the fact that it's a historic structure. They can't do much else with it, and that the operating revenue is improving, but still nothing that an investor would be excited about.
Your insights are very well founded to the extent that it is on the National Historic Register of Places. There are very limited things that you can do with it, and our mandate would be that it stays as a public performing arts center. It does start to narrow what you can do with it, and that has a reflection in the purchase price.
So keep us posted, I guess, on a future
Most certainly.
agenda item when we can do some long-range planning, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
But I'm fine with the painting bid, and
I have those same sort of long-term concerns. Hopefully, everyone associated with Glendale Arts, not just the management, is aware of what's in store for the future, so they have to start making some plans. And you'd like to, sure,
Yeah, she's sneaking up.
we'll need
I
your,
know.
we'll
I was
need
just
your
going to say I'm
name.
happy to answer questions. As you all know, I'm Elisa Glickman, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Glendale Arts and the Alex Theater. As Mr. Ochoa stated, we do have several plans in place, including the completion of a fundraising feasibility study. We hope to complete and will complete our strategic plan that will take us into 2020 at the end of the summer. Also, as Mr. Ochoa stated, we were sort of slightly derailed on some of our fundraising activities as the state and the successor agency oversight boards, et cetera, sort of sorted out what was going to happen after the elimination of redevelopment. But we now see ourselves very much on track. And in order to specifically address your question regarding ongoing maintenance, it's my understanding that because our contract does expire in 2015 and all of the things that were funded through the ROPS have now come to almost a conclusion, that funding is not going to continue anyway. So there's no more projects that are on the docket for the Alex Theater that would come out of successor agency dollars. So we fully anticipate through not only our $2.50 facility fee that we charge on every ticket to build that war chest and continue to use that money for ongoing maintenance and restoration, but our plan is to also build some sort of endowment to continue ongoing maintenance. It was always the idea that when the agency sunsetted in 2015, Glendale Arts would naturally inherit those costs, and it was going to be the agency's responsibility to bring the Alex up to snuff so that we had ample time to build up the cash reserves needed in order to continue ongoing
And the best
maintenance.
opportunity for success by
Correct.
having a state-of-the-art facility.
So I hope that that addresses some of your concerns. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds like the airport. 2015.
All right, so do I have, well, before we sort of, oh no, we'll be doing the expansion project next, right? Be talking about the expansion project next.
I'm Cassandra Pruitt, Community Development. I was going to provide the slideshow
Oh,
if you wanted
sorry.
to see it.
that's-
I think we should. I mean, we spend quite a bit of money on it.
It's on this side of-
$5.2 million, let's see what it gets us here. There we go.
The slides are pretty self-explanatory. Prior to the expansion project, the theater had to use storage bins in the parking lot and rent out tents for performers for shows. And now that we have the new space, now that we have the new 6,600 square feet space, these are all of the new, this isn't all of them, but this is most of the new spaces in the expansion. This is the entrance that is from the parking lot area. This is a new wing that shows a lot of the new rooms that have been added. There's a new passenger elevator, a new freight elevator, new dressing rooms, new showers and bathrooms, a laundry room, workspace where they can do things like fix lighting equipment and other equipment for the stage. They now have storage space so they don't have to use the bins outside. And they have a new loading dock. These are just some of the new spaces that are provided, and if you walk down into the area, it's like there's a whole new building there. It's really quite amazing. They have a lot of new space that they can use to attract new clientele and get new business for the theater. Any questions?
And it's one of those things where, we make this investment, but without the investment, make no mistake, the theater really wouldn't be viable as a place to book the kinds of shows that will help assure its success. You needed all this back-of-house thing that really are kind of unsexy, but ultimately are necessary for a modern theater. So work that had to be done, the council saw it a few years ago as the need, and that investment has been made now. As Ms. Glickman had indicated, as Ms. Pruitt had stated as well, these are all the things that are very necessary to give them the best chance at success.
Well, it's now state-of-the-art in everything, video, what we just saw today, video, sound, everything.
Carpet?
First class.
New carpet?
Carpet, yeah. So
I was-
it's being replaced. Yeah.
I was in there this week. I was able to take a tour, and the difference is amazing. I mean, what was dirt before is now an amazing facility. And looking at it, I had to wonder, how did they have these big shows here without a dressing room?
Right.
You kind of think, yeah, that's right. They didn't actually have a dressing room. They were in a tent outside. How did they load before without this elevator? I guess they had to carry everything up and down the stairs. What a huge difference to turn this into a theater that's actually modern inside and workable and attractive and easy for shows that were there, not to mention the storage. I didn't realize that they had to store their piano off-site. That's how little storage they had. And now Alyssa was pointing at empty space saying, we can actually put things in this empty space, and we don't even have enough stuff to put in here. So shows can use all this for their equipment and for their sets. So it's going to be something that's really going to benefit the Alex and generate revenue for them going into the future, because they'll be that much more attractive to traveling shows and other sorts of groups that want to use a television, shoots, all of that. So I think it's going to help them a lot in terms of their future financial planning and sustainability.
I was in the back of the theater a few times, and it was nothing but bedlam downstairs. We were trying to use the few old dressing rooms that did exist, just totally overloaded. So this will really start to sell it.
It's a beautiful project, and it was a great success. As we've said numerous times, it was on schedule, within budget, and I just want to take the opportunity to thank our great team, because it was really a team effort. Public Works did an outstanding job. The Glendale Arts team, the Alex Theater, it was a good team effort. Also, I'd like to note that we have a revised motion. The original one only addresses the second quarter. The revised motion has both the second and third quarter in it.
Okay, yeah, there was a flamenco show there a couple of weeks ago, and I talked to the performers who performed. They're from Spain. They performed all over Europe, Asia, South America, and I asked them, well, what do you think of the facilities? They thought it was great. They were very, very impressed. And so you're probably, I don't know what they were, maybe third or fourth, using the dressing room, so everything's fresh for you. But. Okay, do I have a motion, a revised...
Move 1A and B, is it?
Second.
A roll call.
Board members: Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Harrison Onion, Vice Chair Quintero.
Yes. What's next?
Next item on the agenda, item number 2, is Director of Economic Development regarding professional services for property management and property acquisition services for the Glendale Successor Agency. 2A is a motion approving a change order with Overland Pacific and Cutler in the amount of $30,000.
Keeping in line with the use of the recognized obligation payment schedule, we would ask that you approve the use of these ROPS dollars for this change order for $30,000 to be used on Overland Pacific Cutler. As you know, we have obligations to maintain properties until such time as we can liquidate them. Specifically, I'm referring to the exchange units that are there on Maryland. We, as you know, are not going to keep those. The state law has mandated that we divest of those, and we will. But until we do that, we will operate them and do the required management, and then at the appropriate time have them appraised. That's all work that is done by OPC. So we would hope that you would approve this change order that would get us through next year, and then hopefully by then the contract is complete and the properties are liquidated.
Any questions or comments?
I'll move 2A.
Roll call.
Board members, Friedman,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Harrison, Vice Chair Quintero.
Yes. Next, please.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.